Good morning, church. So this is in continuation to the finances in marriage. Before we get started, I just want to announce, if you have any questions, there is a QR code on the screen. The questions you send in through the QR code are anonymous, so you please feel free to send those questions in. And there's also cards being passed around. Please fill out those cards and pass it to the ushers so we can get your questions answered. We have a few questions here that pertain to finances in marriage, and I'll be reading out some questions and Pastor will go from there. The first one I have here, it says, why does this happen in the USA? Both couples are contributing to the finances in the home, but not the workload in the home. The load is usually on the woman. How can we balance this?
Workload in the home.
I believe we talked a little bit about this in terms of gender roles in the home. And based on where we find ourselves in the U.S., we really cannot ascribe roles, certain roles to the woman in the house, which is where what we had talked about previously. The roles have to be shared in the homes. And gone are the days where our fathers would work or go to work and come home and just sit back, even if the woman is at the home, is left at home with children, because working with children is a full-time job as well. So the husband cannot come back and sit back and wait for his food to be served and all of that. So what I had talked about previously last Sunday as well was, depending on your strength, the roles in the home can or should be shared out, so that the woman is not burdened with working in the home, doing the home chores and all of that, so that the woman doesn't feel at the end of the day, doesn't feel like a slave in the house, doesn't feel, tired, is not tired all the time from all the home chores, and because the husband believes that he's bringing home the bacon. Because for whichever way, the woman is contributing one way or the other, physically, mentally, and even in America where we find ourselves, gone are the days where the husband goes to work and the woman sits at home doing nothing. Those days are over, especially in this the area of the world where we find ourselves. Both of you find yourselves working. Even sometimes the woman has a better job or a more paying job than the husband. So how do you cut that? So how do we balance it? We have to communicate. We have to talk about it. There has to be some form of agreement. A husband and the wife should sit down and talk who does what, who brings what, so that there would be a balance in the home.
You guys want to give us insight into how you do yours?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the privilege to be here as well, sir.
You have to talk out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the privilege to be here to share our journey. We have a conversation, and in the beginning, before even the kids came, we talked about it, and as things were changing in our lives, we also had those communication, and we have 3 kids, and she works with a team that is in India, and because of that, she has to log in very early in the morning just to have those meetings with them. And what I do is I go in, get the kids ready, and brush their teeth, do everything, put their clothes on, and get them ready. And so by the time she's done with our meeting and comes down to meet us, they're actually downstairs and ready to go and out the door. And so just to make sure that she sees them. So we never ascribe it to be a woman's role or it's my role. No, it's a family and it's one unit. and we just want to make sure that the family is moving. And so I do what I need to do to get the family out of the house ready.
And also, I think part of the challenge of this case, when I started talking about marriage, that marriage is not just spiritual, it's also cultural. You know, what happens is that people can live in America, but in their head, they are still in the village. You understand? You know, and that's why they are still behaving as if they are in the village, thinking like this. Do you understand? For instance, in the church office, even though I have an assistant, do you understand? We made it clear to everybody that works in church office that it's not anybody's duty to pick up the phone. It's everybody's duty. So if any phone call comes into the church office, anybody should pick it up. Not that, my secretary is there, I will pick it up, or it's everybody. Once you see the house as totally belonging to both of you, doing those things will not be seen as doing extra. I've had some people complain that, I take care of this, I take care of that, and I'm saying, about your children? I say, you're complaining about taking care of your children? Is it my own children you're taking care of? You know, so either, and it happens to either the man or the woman. And I'm saying, these are your children. Do you understand? These children will soon leave the home. And once they leave the home, they are gone. This is the memory that you can give them. But for some people, it's so difficult getting to them because their mind is still in the village. Their mind is still in the village. So maybe I need to get you some coffee so that you can wake up. You know, this is no longer village marriages we're having now. Do you understand? The world has changed. The world has changed. Praise God.
Thank you, Pastor. I should say also there are 3 mics in the aisles, so if anybody would like to ask a live question, just signify and let us know. Okay, so the next question here says, my husband sends money home to his family all the time. He supports his siblings and even their children. We have not bought our own house yet and barely have any savings. How can I get him to prioritize our family's needs as well as his?
Yes, let me tell.
Good morning. So we've actually had something similar to this. Larry's parents are back home. I was born and raised here, so my family's based here. So number one, he had to get me to understand that sending money back home is a thing for people who come here that are from diaspora. So, because initially I'm like, well, why? Excuse the English, I'm trying to use English here. But, so I had to understand that, like, okay, but I mean, your mom, she gets retirement checks, so I don't know why she can't, pay her own bills. So he had to, number one, educate me because it was ignorance that I was using to speak. And once that happened, it's him and his brother. His mother is a widow. So especially after Pastor has quoted the description, I'm no longer talking about what you sent to your mom. But I had to tell him, like, with that being said, we do have our own finances. I'm not checking you, telling you how much you can and can't send to your mom. But let's understand, okay, how much can we afford to send? Is this something that we can ask Mom C, hey, let's, until we get to the next stage, can she manage with this or can she manage with that? But ultimately what I'm trying to say is it's a conversation that needed to take place. I didn't want to resent him and, be complaining and then ultimately resenting the mother. So I just had to have that hard conversation with him. And fortunately, he was open to it. And so now, it's something that we can both contribute to as well. So.
To add a little bit of context to it was more or less, to add a little bit of context to it was that because our parents were based here, the idea of sending money to anyone was a foreign concept. And I had to say to her, this is a respect thing for me. The way I was raised up, the way my parents were, going back to culture. I have to, if my father was alive, I would do it because it's a respect thing for me. And that understanding was there for her. And so it wasn't a question of if and when or what could it. And the second step I did personally was to ensure that everything that had to do with the house, I took care of. So there's no mindset of, oh, you're taking what we need to sustain the house out. No. I did what I needed to do so that as I'm also doing what I need to do for my mom, she also was able to say, you know what, I also want to be part of it as well.
Okay, I like the fact that, we're hearing from younger couples, When you look at this question, it's for me, it's in two parts. One part is the cultural part of it, Another part there is priority part. Do you understand? I say to people, the fact that you meet a lady, especially a lot of men who have been introduced to some ladies in America, or even women who are introduced to some men in Nigeria, you have to understand you are marrying an all-American girl. You are marrying an all-American boy. Even though you might come from the same tribe, your cultures are different. There's an American culture you have to contend with. This girl was raised and born here. She is not thinking like your village at all. No, I'm not saying that in disrespect. Get it before you fall in love. These are discussions you need to have. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, coming back to the priority, you should know that your family, and I'm talking about your wife and your children, they come as a priority. However, the discussion they had, these are the discussions people should be having rather than going to movies. These are discussions you should be talking about. Before I married my wife, I told her, I said, I'm a Joseph in my family. I have been paying bills since I was 20. My younger brother, I'm only 2 years older than him. I sent him to secondary school. I sent him to university. I'm only 2 years older than him. I labored to do these things. I married him. So before I met my wife, I told her, I said, so there will be pressure. The pressure has not subsided till now. No, listen to me. But I also know my priority. And there's never been a day that she has said, oh, you overlooked the home. You didn't do anything for the house. And you are doing... My wife does not even she doesn't even know how much I give people. She does not have an idea. And I'm telling you, standing here before you, before God and man, you'll be shocked if you know how much I spend every year. There are people I have on payroll every month. Siblings. Now to talk of having sent their children to school. And she also does the same thing. So we need to sit down and talk about this. Do you understand what I'm saying? There is no point in you and your husband not being able to sit down and have a target and say, we don't have a home. What is the plan to start saving so that we can work towards getting a home? And once you decide that, that savings is not for your family back home. That savings is towards buying a home. Once you get it clear. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then this issue will not be a problem. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Okay, so another question here says, how do I motivate my husband to do what he needs to do to get a better job? He seems comfortable with doing this job that brings only minimal salary.
So, couple of years, like this was like maybe year 1, year 2 when we first got married. I was working then in the university system, even in IT, but it wasn't a lot. And at that time, I believe she was making more. And we had a baby on the way. Baby hadn't come out yet, but still on the way. And it was a birthday, and we had this conversation about, okay, we have an additional person coming into the mix. What is going on right now will not help, will not sustain us for the next level. And I didn't take it personal as a man that how dare she come at me and say such. I understood it from a mindset of things are getting real and I need to step up. And so what I did was I said, you know what, all the skills I've learned, all the skills I've had working, maybe I need to just start changing the way I approach things. And I also did a very important thing was I got a mentor about my career. And this is not a mentor for just life, but a mentor in terms of my career. And that was able to guide me into a path. With that, I got a job, and that changed the dynamics of the house in terms of what I needed to do. So I would say have a conversation, but as a woman, make sure that he understands that you're coming from a place of love and also from as a unit. And there's something she said during that conversation. She said, we're a unit, we're together. I'm not saying this against you. I am for you, and this is for our betterment. And I understood that as she wasn't coming for me, but she was challenging me to be able to start thinking better than the level I was.
Honestly, some cases like this, you have to go back. And what do I mean by go back? Is that a lot of the challenges in marriages today, they are not new. They have been there even before people got married. If you are married to a man that is laid back, you knew. You knew. He's always been laid back. You cannot be a lizard in Maryland and be an alligator in Texas. You knew. You knew. You knew that this guy is laid back. But what happens to most women? You see, women are like incubators. They believe that they can build anything. So even when they see hopeless cases, they believe that if you leave the case in their hands, they will make it better. How far? How far? And it's just a natural thing for women. They just believe that we can nurture this guy. I can make this guy better. Do you understand what I'm saying? Me too, I've thought that I could nurture some people, but I realized that it's only God that can nurture them. I'm telling you because I'm telling you. So what am I saying? Is that when you look at someone like this, it is because he has gotten to a safe place. One of the ways that you can get people out of their safe place is by apportioning bills. So I say, because the model that I have, which I didn't really have time to preach because I was watching my time, is that we should have a joint account. Take all our bills, put it in a joint account, let's contribute towards it. The one that has more can contribute more and all that. But for somebody that does not want to improve themselves, apportion serious bill to them. You will see how they will fall flat on their face when they cannot pay that bill. However, if he's seriously chronic laid back, it will not matter to him. He will just say that, let heaven fall. Nothing will happen here. You know them, you know the people I'm talking about. I'm telling you. So, what other ways can you do? Work it out. Look for some friends that you can trust. Look for a mentor that he also believes in and trusts, so that the mentor can speak into his life and help push him. The challenge with this push thing is that some people, in fact, if you're not careful, you will push them, they will fall. Because they're not going to do anything. And after a while, they'll be avoiding you because they don't want to do anything. Do you understand? So what else can you do? You just have to pray and that God will, help them and take control. But this issue, it's not only on the man's side, it can also be on the woman's side. Because I've had women, husband come to me and say, sir, we got married, both of us working. 2 months after we got married, my wife said, she wants to take a break. And he asked her, how about the bill? The woman said, it's not a long break. The break is 2 years old now. Pastor, please let me call her. Because the break has turned into retirement now. And the bill is still being paid. Some people are just looking for a ride. And it's not fair. It's not fair. Even God is not happy with you. Do you understand? You are just looking for a ride. And nobody will take it. Your in-laws will not take it. The siblings of your spouse will not take it because they see their daughter or their son, you using them as laborers. And nobody will like that. Do you understand? So let's amend our ways. Do you understand? And let's just bring in the bacon. You can even do more than the bacon. Bring the pig into the house. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a kind of piggybacking up of what you said regarding finding friends. There's a question here that says, is it a big deal that your husband actually does not have any friends besides from you, his wife? Should the wife be concerned? Because he has only work acquaintances, but no one that he can call friend.
A lot of people have that. That's not a problem. My wife doesn't have a lot of friends. All the friends that she has, I took them over. And she started blaming me that all her friends have taken them over. But I actually talk to her friends more than her. I will call her friends, a lot of her friends. I will call them. I'll be talking to them. So after a while, I say, look, let me stay in my own space. And I see their difference to her. But what I'm trying to say is this. I believe, not that I don't think, God did not create any human being to be alone. 2 is better than 1. That's what the scripture says. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can help him because some people are introverts. And I mean seriously introverted. So the extrovert that makes more friends can help. And how can you help? If your friends also have spouses, do you understand? Make sure that you bring your husband into those kind of, situations and gradually encourage him so that he also can be more friendly. Do you understand? And get friends. Because it's not even good for his mental state, to be alone. God did not create any man. Look at what COVID did to us when we were alone. COVID messed up people. Mental health was a major deal during COVID when you could not talk to people. It's a major deal. So what I'm saying is that that's an example of how when God looked at man and said it's not good for man to be alone. Do you understand? It's not good for man to be alone. So you have to help the man.
And then maybe what I can add to that is, I'll put it out there for the singles right now. When you're courting, when you're knowing yourselves, you want to know who your fiancé or your friend is accountable to. What do I mean by that? That person can indirectly be a mentor to that person, to your spouse or your fiancé or whoever. But if while you're courting, you're dating, and you observe that there is nobody that can put this person to order, you need to sit down. You need to sit. Because if he's not accountable to anybody, that means nobody can mentor him. That means nobody can talk or correct him. So you may need to take a step back, because if you get married, then he will be on the highway and nobody can call him to order. So look out for that as singles.
Thank you. Okay, so a question that just came in, it says, how do you pour into each other without feeling empty? So
Okay.
without maybe a point in, maybe one person is given more.
Yeah. I can relate to that as a pastor. Do you understand? And what do I mean by that? This might not have anything to do with marriage, but I come in to church on every Sunday, on Tuesday. I was here yesterday. Many days I'm constantly preparing and ministering to people. I'm pouring into people. If you don't get people to pour into you, very soon you will dry up. You will dry, you will not believe it. So I tell a lot of pastors who are leaving this church, when they want to set up their own churches, I say to them, don't be far from me. It's not because I want to lord it over them, because I didn't want them to go dry. After a while, if nobody is pouring to you, you will be dry and you'll be discouraged. So what do? I keep in touch with I have a lot of pastor friends, So on Mondays, those are my days that I call pastor friends. And we're just talking, I was church yesterday. What was this, whatever. And we talk about all of you. We talk about you, Yeah. We talk, at times how you frustrate us, And we encourage ourselves, And we talk also about how you're a blessing to us. And they say, that's good, that's good. Encourage your people, they're a blessing to you, Because those are the things that helps you. So when you have a wife or a husband and you are pouring, you should be able to pour into each other. Do you understand? But you must put yourself in a situation where people can pour into you. And that takes a lot of humility. Because in a marriage situation, if you think you know too much, or your wife has something to offer, she will never be able to pour into you. Even though she's trying to pour into you, but you are not able to receive it. Because you've already judged him or her. I don't know whether I'm making any sense. So all we need to do is just to be open. Do you understand? To be open and say, just guide me on this. At times you might even have an idea what ought to be done. I ask a lot of our ministers, on how to do things. It's not because I don't know what to do. When Jesus asked the disciples, what shall we give these ones? The Bible says he himself knew what he was going to do. But he wanted them also to pour into him, and then they were doing all the suggestions. Eventually, Jesus, he did what he had to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just to, so when you are given an opportunity to pour into your spouse, don't hesitate. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just pour into them, be a blessing to them, encourage them. Don't wait until it's their birthday before you buy a gift for them. Do you understand? Take them out, to lunch or to dinner. You are pouring into them. That's what you are doing. Praise the Lord.
So we have room for one more question. It says, should the person I marry be like the male or female version of myself, or the opposite of me, as a pursuit for finances?
You'll be too boring if you marry somebody like you. People don't marry people like them. Yeah. Very few people you'll see. Life is so short that you want to marry someone exactly like you. Your family will be too boring. Do you understand what I'm saying? What makes this thing, the way God does this thing, I don't understand. That's why marriage is like a mystery. You marry somebody who is totally, in a way, opposite of you, and yet you are able to love each other. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if look, I told you how my brother described both of us. My immediate senior brother, I had not lived under the same roof with him in 40 years. So we went in, what month was it? Was it April? My immediate younger brother's daughter, my niece, was getting married. So he came from Nigeria, we came from here, and we now rented an apartment. So we stayed for 1 week. In 1 week, he was watching us, I didn't know. So when we were about to end the trip, he said, I've looked at both of you, I've figured you out. I said, what do you mean? He said, you, Tola, the way I've seen you, your life is like the pam, 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 pam. Once you think about it, you go after it and you get it. He said, your wife, she just keeps quiet and she's watching. I think she has a Sarah spirit, but when you're about to go wrong, she corrects you, and then you move on again. He said, are we the same? We're not the same. We're not the same. Come and see us walk. I'm 5 miles ahead. She's still coming behind. We're not the same. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But is he walking? He's walking. He's walking. So please stop looking for your strength in your spouse. Your spouse has his or her own strength. So let everybody walk in their strength and compliment. God bless you.
If this has been a blessing, please appreciate our pastors, appreciate the panel.
Thank you.